Hello everybody, MechlordGames here, coming at you with a deck profile today. Um, I haven't uploaded in a while because I've been busy with this. Uh, but this is my new deck that I've been playing at locals. Top 16 against meta. That's not bad. It's Machina, Machina rank 4 particularly. Um, let's get started. 2 Machina Fortress. The boss monster of the deck, pretty much. This guy, he gets over a lot of your problems, and he's a very difficult problem for your opponent to deal with. He's just awesome. He really is awesome. He's my favorite of the Machina monsters as far as like effects and power wise. He is what inspired me to actually make my my original YouTube name, machinamechlord, which is my DN account name. But there's 3 Machina gear frame. Machina gear frame, he searches out any of your Machina monsters. And in this deck, he has a lot of targets. So it's not just gear frame. It's not just fortress with this deck. He has many targets. Like Machina Soldier will be one of your primary targets you're going to search out for. Soldier can special summon any Machina monster from your hand. It can be gear frame, it can be, fortress, it can be whatever. You have 3 Machina Sniper. Machina Sniper, if you can effectively get them on the field, or get multiples of them on the field, you can create a attack lockdown, which is extremely difficult for your opponent to get over. Because if you have both of these in defense, it's pretty much going to force your opponent to kind of have to Raigeki. They have no choice, or they have to find a way to remove one of the snipers at least to be able to do anything. So it can be pretty annoying and pretty pesky, but for the most part, you don't really focus on getting the lockout. And then you have the 2 Machina Defender. One day, I did use Commander Covington, the card I could search for, and Covington just didn't really do much. I didn't run Force in the deck either, so Covington didn't have an effect, but getting that search effect off kind of was okay, but after a while I just realized it was more of a downside rather than a positive side. Because if you draw Covington, their effects are kind of dead. So their effects are dead anyway, but at least now you don't have to worry about setting them. You can just use them as exceed material. And they have 1800 defense, so you can still set them if need be, but you don't really have to set them. You don't have to focus on that to get any searches off. 3010 Goldfish, one of your main exceeds monsters. One of your main summon monsters to get into your exceeds. Same with Machina Soldier, and then this guy Goblinberg. These right here are basically your main cards that are going to get you into your exceeds. These two Kageto Kages will get into your exceeds as well. So the soldiers, the goldfishes, the Goblinbergs, and the Kageto Kages basically make your exceeds. And they all do so very easily. Vanity hurts this deck. Vanity does hurt. But we have our way around Vanity. So you've got 3 reinforcement of the army, just to search out Goblinberg. Goblinberg, yes, is only at 2, but I have the searcher at 3, just for improved consistency. 3 MSTs, get rid of their back row, get over Vanity, just get over annoying shit like that. We have Raigeki at 1, Dark Hole at 1. These cards I feel like are very important to have. Dark Hole isn't as good as Raigeki, but Raigeki's only 1 of, Dark Hole's at 2. Raigeki just overall is so much better. But that's why it's still limited to 1. Snatch Steal. I don't really feel like Snatch Steal is necessary, but if your opponent has something really strong, you can force out MSTs with Snatch Steal, and then set back row, or, if they don't have anything, just take really big monsters and use their monsters to their advantage. Like if they have like a good level 4 or something on the field, just snatch, steal it away, take it from them. And limiter removal. Limiter removal. Most of your monsters are machines, so this card is not bad to have by any means, because this card, it can allow you to OTK. If you have the means to do so, like if you have soldier and sniper and fortress in hand with like another machine, this will allow you to OTK. Or if you just have gear frame and fortress, or soldier and fortress, or sniper and fortress, and they have like an open field, that's an easy OTK because it doubles all their attacks. That'd be 5k and 3600, 2400, 36, 36, 32. Right, yeah, that would be 32. Or 1600. So you have a lot of machines that this works with. Also is one of those cards that really can save your ass in a lot of scenarios and a lot of situations. So for our back row, the typical Solemn Warning, Bottomless, Compulse, and Torrential. I am the guy who runs 3D Prison and everything. I love it. Deep Prison is my favorite trap card. And then 3 Fiendish Chain, just to stop effects off and stuff like that. And like sometimes these can be dead, but meh, it doesn't really matter too much. So for our XCs, we have 2 Gain X. This will search out pretty much everything in our deck. And King of the Fire Lamps. There have been times where I've needed to make a first turn XCs and couldn't make Gigant to search. On my first build, I didn't have the Kagito Kage and I didn't have the King, and it just made things so much rougher. It made things really rough, not having that first turn go to, like, if you can't get Gigant, you're gonna want to be able to get King. Just keep your consistency, keep your search plays off. That's one of the real key things about this deck, is getting your searches and your consistencies. And if you can't get into that, then it kind of sucks, because there has been times where I've drawn into my Goblinbergs and like another monster and can't get into anything that's going to help me out. So it kind of just like, okay, I'm just not going to do anything, and then that puts you in an open opportunity to be hit for big damage and possibly OTK'd. So I didn't really feel like that was a good thing, so I immediately had to change it, just because I really felt vulnerable there. So now that I have, searchable targets, and I can put in King, I now don't have to worry about, that first turn, okay, am I going to be able to get into a search or not? Am I going to get into something, useful? So it's kind of in its own nerve-wracking when you have to worry, like, oh, what am I going to go to on my first turn? Like, because you're either going to make Gear Gigant or you're going to make King. And sorry about the noise in the background. Been playing GTA 5, and it's just kind of loading up the game, and I don't exactly want to get kicked. So let me just do this right quick. Settings, audio. Just turn the audio of the game down right quick. Okay, but anyway, we have Castell. Castell is really important, one of the most important cards in our XC. Well, one of the most important XC's monsters. This basically gets rid of most of our problems and gets rid of our troubles. And this card by far is one of our main go-tos for getting rid of anything that might potentially harm us, that might, prove to be hurtful to us. 101, take big monsters, but Castell is just overall better because he can balance anything that's face up. It could be any face up card, bounce back to the deck. So if you're playing against like something really, really, like someone has like a supply squad and you just don't want to deal with it, just make Castell, get rid of it, bounce it back if you don't have MST. I actually did that and I won because the guy couldn't get draws off his supply squad. Exciting, we rarely make this just because we rarely ever not have more cards than our opponent. We rarely ever do. So Exciting Night, it's there because it can be useful, but we don't really use it. You have Kernorgan, Antiluminescent Knight. This guy, I didn't really believe how good he was, but he is really good. Any effect that targets exactly one card on the field, and only one card on the field, you can change its target to any other card, and that becomes the target effect. I mean, obviously, if it's an appropriate target, like if they, if you attack into like you attack their monster, they play Deep Prison, go Kernorgan, and then basically target their monster for their Deep Prison. Their Deep Prison vanishes it, and then it goes to a battle replay, which is really good. Like any effect that targets, like singly targets, this card is just way too good. It is way too good. Abyss Dweller. I only made this against the Burning Abyss matchups, which I did run into Burning Abyss a few times, and I wasn't impressed. Dweller just kind of shit on him because I would use 10 Goldfish so he would get his little power up boost, and I would always have a D Prison or a Fiendish Chain set on the field with the Abyss Dweller, so I just shit all over BA with this card. It was so much fun. Number 50 Black Ship Corn just gets rid of annoying things. Going up against Yang Zing. Yang Zing was Yang Zing can be a bit of a problem, but Black Ship of Corn is like our go-to to get over their monsters because they have to be destroyed by card effect for them to be able to get like any of their searches or summons off. So this card really, Black Ship of Corn is like the one thing that we used to get over that. And like we would still deal damage, then they'd be open for an attack, and then they have to wait another turn, and then it just like kind of like we stalled them a bit, and the guy made Boxia, and I snatch stealed Boxia, and he he had a D Prison set, and I attacked, and he couldn't do anything about it because he made it unaffected with Bixie, so it was rather hilarious because he lost to his own monster. Gotta love when that happens. But this card I feel like is very good. Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon. I didn't really make it too much, but I love playing this card when I do. It's just really good to get over like really big, stupid monsters. Like things that are just really annoying and you want to kill them. This guy gets over it. And he's a basic rank 4. And he's not a mandatory staple that you don't want to lose, so this guy could be like a first turn guy that you throw out there, which would put them in an opportunity where if they don't get over it, like they have to make something stronger than it or use an effect to get over it. So it kind of really makes it really nice because if they don't get over it, you can just target any one of their special summon monsters, any one of their monsters, and just take its attack, and it gains that attack. So it's just it's really nice to have. Ouroboros, I made this twice actually, and this card is still too damn good. It's not exactly the most efficient to make, but in certain matches this card can be really good. I made this first turn against Necros, and I ended up ditching their Kaleidoscope, and it took the guy 3 turns to actually draw into something to be able to summon, and I know that they had I know that they have Trishula, so I made Kernorgan on my next turn after making this, because I drew like really monster heavy hand. I had Goblinberg, Sniper, and a Kage, and I was just like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna make Ouroboros. The other thing I had in my hand was a 10 Goldfish. My next turn, I drew into Gear Frame, and I was just like, you know what? I need to do this. I made Kernorgan. The guy, like I said, 3 turns later after the start of the game, made Trishula, and he targeted. Well, Oh, he cheated. I didn't even have a card in my hand or anything really in, like, I had one card in my graveyard, one card. Well, I had the Cairn Organ on the field. I had the Ouroboros on the field. Of cards in my graveyard, but nothing in hand. And the guy, only targeted, my Ouroboros. And I used Cairn Organ, so that was technically a cheat. So that was a really awkward game. Now that I look back on it, I did lose the game anyway, but now that I look back on it, that was kind of cheating. So I do definitely feel bad about that. But we do have number 82, Heartland Draco. Heartland Draco can be really fun to play around with, because if your opponent has something, you can just make Heartland Draco, attack for 2k directly, and GG. And it's hilarious when you do, because you get people who get really mad. This one kid I was playing against, he was using Lightsworn Dragon Rulers, which, let's face it, aren't very good right now. And haven't been good in like forever. And, he went JD. He paid his 1,000 cost. I was like, nope, Fiendish Chain. He summons another JD, pays his 1,000 cost. And I was like, wait a minute, dude, hold on. And he's like, what? I bottomlessed. Got rid of that monster. All he had left on the field. Well, he didn't have anything left on the field. But he summoned into his third JD, then attacked. Then I made Heartland Drago and gamed him with Heartland Drago. It was hilarious. He threw the cards. Threw them. It was great. Diamond Wolf. Never made it. Never needed to. But there's not really anything else better that I could put in. Giant hand. I could just do a second arc, I guess, or like Papal Operative. There's not really that many things that are even remotely slightly better. Oh, yeah, but we have Gaga Cowboy. Cowboy just piss people off. It's hilarious. Burning people with Gaga Cowboy for game. I did it 3 times. 3 times. Fantastic. And then number 103. There was actually a guy who was playing Fire Fist. It was the 3.5 axis. And he summons Bear his first turn. Like, he plays Tenki, searches Wolf Bark, normal summons Bear, sets 2, passes. I make this, pop his monster, go plus. I end up drawing it a Snatch Steal. So I was immediately happy. And, next turn he was like, oh, well, my Tiger King is a quick effect, so I'm going to go ahead and play that. And he summons Tiger King. And, I activate Ragna 0, and he's like, oh, well, I can chain this. I was like, no, you can't. It's not a quick effect. And he's like, what? When has it not been? I was like, since forever. Tiger King is not a quick effect. And he's like, oh. So he called the judge over. The judge came over, and he was like, what's the problem? Isn't Tiger King a quick effect? The judge looked at him with, like, the strangest face and just said, are you stupid? And the kid didn't respond. He didn't reply. And the judge is just like, no, it's not a quick effect. It never has been, and it never will be. That's exactly why Fire Fist don't exactly do that well. Because if it was a quick effect, Fire Fist would be so much better. And if it was a quick effect, I would honestly like that, just because it made things so much better. I mean, it would make things so much better if it were like that. So anyways, that's the deck. It was really fun to make this deck, play this deck again. I used this deck a while ago, loved it, and just been looking for a new deck to play around with that wasn't like too bad, or like wasn't like meta. So I made this and been loving it every step of the way. Didn't exactly win much, but meh. It's not always about winning. It's about having fun and enjoying yourself. So anyways, thank you for watching this deck profile. Remember to like, subscribe, rate, and comment, and I will see you guys later.